Hi there and welcome to Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai, working from home in New Delhi. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated to startups, technology, innovation, disruption, entrepreneurship. If it falls under the gambit of the new economy, it's here every weekday at 6 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, like all the stakeholders we get on this show, Team Startup Central thrives on constructive feedback. Keep writing into us. Tell us how you want us to do the show differently, what you want to see on the show, what you never want to see on the show. We love compliments too and lap them up. You can send those as well. Our email address right on top, suc@etnow.tv. I'm also on Twitter. Feel free to reach out directly. Pitch to us. Who knows, maybe one day you'll even be a part of the show. Right, let's get straight down to business now. We saw perhaps India's largest ever startup event. It was hosted by Thai Delhi NCR and literally had the who's who from the startup universe. So much so that it even got the Zoom founder to log in and talk to the Indian audience, founders, VCs and all of that. Zoom founders first ever address to an Indian audience, where he made it quite clear that India is the second most important and biggest market for Zoom outside of the United States. He was in conversation with Sequoia Capital's Managing Director Rajan Anandan. Now, besides talking about India, the tools it wants to build, the new office and center it wants to open in Bengaluru, this conversation was also very fascinating for figuring out how Zoom has performed during COVID-19, Zoom marriages, and how Zoom actually has a team of people whose core responsibility is to make sure employees are happy. Listen in.
So the year before I left Cisco in 2011, and back to 2010 timeframe. So every day, every time when I talked with a WebEx customer, I did not see a single happy customer. So I felt very embarrassed. I realized, customer, they talk about the next generation communication, meaning they want to have a better video collaboration experience. WebEx was not a beautiful video for data collaboration. I was not thinking about leaving. I tried to, rebuild the WebEx, back then, but it's really hard. I failed to convince others to rebuild. That's why 1 year later, I decided to leave, to start Zoom. The goal is very simple: to build a better service, to bring in happiness back to those customers.
Tell us a little bit about, what did you set out to do, and you and your team, and how have you guys built this product that, today hundreds of millions of users, including myself, just simply love?
So when we started, we at that time, we already knew that the video is a new voice, and the video communication will become a mainstream service in the future. That's why when we started, we want to make sure our architecture is right. It's a cloud, a video first architecture. On day one, we also want to make sure, from back-end perspective, we can scale our business. Meaning, if you have tens of millions of users, if they are using Zoom, we do not need to modify our architecture. We just by adding more and more servers, we can scale up, and also we can leverage, public cloud like Amazon or Oracle Cloud. And having said that, over the past several years, we laser focused on serving enterprise and business customers. And this pandemic crisis completely changed everything. We have so many first-time consumers, users, a lot of new use cases. The good news is actually our team, we are taking actions quickly and, add more servers and do all we can to learn the new use cases, listen to the first-time users quickly, and make some changes. And that's why we survived over the past several months. The key is look at everything, no matter what you do, especially for a startup company, always listen to customers carefully, really understand why they are using your service, why they do not use your service, and then take actions quickly. That's the reason why we survived.
What were the biggest challenges, Eric, you've had to overcome as an entrepreneur? You started the company in 2011. You took it public, 7-8 years after that. What are the, if you were to say, what were the top 3 challenges that you had to overcome as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome them?
I think first of all, I can tell you it's pretty tough. To build any startup companies is a long journey, all kinds of challenges. Early days, I can tell you the first challenge is, the balance between open-minded and also sometimes you got to trust yourself. Sometimes you got to be a little bit stubborn. The reason was that when I left the Cisco WebEx, I tried to build a next generation solution. Many of my friends told me that, Eric, don't do it. If you do anything else, our check is ready for you to start any business rather than another video conferencing or a collaboration service, because the market was so crowded. So how to balance that? On the one hand, I wanted to listen to my friends. I like their feedback. On the other hand, I also think this is the right thing to do. But how to balance that? Right? This is the first challenge. Finally, I sort of trust my my gut feeling and followed my dream. I did that, and that's the first challenge. Another challenge is also the balance between the speed of growth and also patience.
Talk to us about the challenges that have come with growing so quickly, and especially address some of the security and privacy issues. I know you've done this many times, Eric, but I think for this audience, and especially for our audience in India, it'll be helpful to hear from you. What were the challenges, and what have you guys been doing to address these challenges?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, as I mentioned earlier, Zoom was built to serve enterprise or business customers. In terms of security, we built a lot of security features over the past several years. That's why a lot of very big enterprise customers, a lot of top worldwide security companies, they all are our customers. However, this pandemic crisis completely changed our user base dynamics. So meaning we have a lot of first-time users, and we never served for K-12 schools before. When pandemic crisis hit here, we decided it's our corporate social responsibility because our company value is care. Number one thing is care about the community where we live. We decided to offer the free service to a lot of K-12 schools, more than 100,000 K-12 schools around 25 countries. India is part of that as well. We have a good intention. However, the biggest mistake I think I made as a CEO is that we did not think about a lot of, say like a K-12 schools, they do not have IT team. They even do not know you have so many security features. They just use whatever the default package, share the screen, the gallery view with meeting ID there, no password, right? This is started from that. It's called a Zoom bombing. I think that's a huge mistake looking back. So I realized not only do we offer a service, but also we should play a role of IT for many of those, I would say K-12 schools or first-time users. So we learn a lesson and we enforce like a password, a waiting room, disable the screen sharing for the attendees, and add a lot of default features for those first-time users. And plus, we would like to leverage that opportunity to listen to our customers, look at all the feedback, especially we have a global data center. We have a 17 data center back then, now we have 18 data center now. How to support the global distributed users. And sometimes if you have a misconfiguration and the data routing for the different centers, I think we also decided to give our customer a flexible network routing functionality, meaning they can decide which data center they want to use, which country's data center they do not want to use. We also give them flexibility. Plus, we decided to freeze all the features for 90 days. The reason why we wanted to leverage this opportunity to review everything, like a bug bounty program. We established a chief security information officer council and also hired a new CISO as well. We do all we can to leverage this opportunity. Make sure double check, triple check, are there any other areas we did not pay attention to? Because the user base is different now. But purely from a security perspective, we have a high confidence it is secure. But we got to make sure how to serve those first-time users.
I think on behalf of hundreds of millions of users, millions of students, millions of schools, families. I wanted to thank you for doing that. I know it was a painful thing to go through as a company, but you did it, I think, with the right intentions, which is, be there for the world when the world needed Zoom or a tool like Zoom. And thank you for doing that. Okay, let's now move to the future of communications. Eric.
By the way, I just want to have a quick comment. I wanted to leverage this opportunity. I would really wanted to, wanted to say special thanks to all of our users in India, because look at our users in terms of number of visitors. India is the second largest country in terms of number of visitors to our website. US number 1, India number 2, Japan number 3, UK and Canada is number 4 and number 5. And I truly appreciate it for all the great support from all the users from India.
Terrific. Absolutely, Eric. And by the way, India is the largest market for every single US tech company in the world. So we have to figure out how to get India to be number 1 for you. I was at Google for a long time, as you know, for 8 years. And every single product at Google, India is like number 1 for Google in the world. And by the way, now, obviously, you have to be a consumer product to do that, because, we have 500 million consumers. Okay, moving now to future of communication. So what does the future look like? What does the future look like for video conferencing, for the future of work? Tell us a little bit about the vision that you have of how the world's going to look like as we, it's going to take us some time to get out of COVID. But tell us, you've talked about, voices, video is the new voice. You've talked a lot about remote work. So tell us about the future and your vision of how things are going to evolve.
So in terms of the future workplace, even after this pandemic crisis is over, I think to work from home will be part of and the working, style. So meaning, I do not think anyone will go back to office same as before. I think every business they are going to support allowing employees to work from home, work remotely. I think this is going to become mainstream. And however, the problem is that what kind of issues when a lot of employees working from home? How can you make sure and the online video conferencing like Zoom can deliver a same experience or better experience, compared to the face-to-face meeting, right? Like today, the mental health, anxiety, depression, have so many meetings. How to make sure you add those features to mitigate those problems? We truly believe video conferencing like Zoom can deliver a better experience than face-to-face meeting. However, we are not there yet. That's the reason why we are working so hard, because imagine a world in the future, maybe fast forward to 2040, right? A lot of features like AI-driven features for real-time language translation. And any, two-person, no matter where they live, they can speak a different language. AI can help them, real-time language translation. Rajin, today, and the first time we meet, I really want to give you a big hug. You will feel my intimacy. I shake hands with you, you also will feel that as well. Those features will be available in the future. Even you drink a tea and one click, and from your side, digitize the smell. From here, I can enjoy that too. I truly believe that's a world where we are going to live in the future. I'm not saying we will get there in 2 or 3 years, but that's a vision, that's the future. When that happens, guess what? You can work anywhere. You feel like we are, in the same physical conference room. And, that's a world, I think that's a future.
That's very exciting, Eric. By the way, I'm hoping that you can make all those features come alive. I love the idea of hugs and smell the coffee and real-time translation. As I was telling you before we started the conference, before joining Sequoia, almost for 2 decades, I was on a flight almost every week. 52 weeks a year, right? For, running these regional businesses. So I can't, and one of the things that I personally realized over the last 4 months after COVID lockdowns is what on earth was I doing? And I think you were saying that you don't travel at all, which is amazing because you just get everything done through Zoom. So that's very exciting. Eric, tell us a little bit about in India. Obviously, as you said, India has really taken off on video conferencing. Indians love Zoom. What are some of the, what are the top 3 or 4 use cases that you're seeing outside of like the original use case, which is, business communication, right? What are some of the use cases that you've seen, especially in India or around the world, the large use cases that you're seeing, Eric?
I think the first, the key use case, it's also my favorite use case is telemedicine. telehealth. And of course, doctors, anywhere in the city, they can serve more patients, in a timely manner, also effective, right? This is I think the number one use case is the telemedicine, telehealth. Another use case is online class, online teaching. And, so K-12 school or higher ed, university, the colleges, right? You can use Zoom for online learning, online teaching. The third thing is about a lot of classes, like a lot of, like online, yoga class, online fitness class, a lot of the classes like that, right? It's also very interesting. Last but not least is like a happy hour, online wedding ceremony. And those use cases also very popular as well. And so it's, it's kind of, you can think about from young kids to the grandma, grandpa, they all can figure out a way, to leverage Zoom and for their use cases. Yeah.
That's great. By the way, I was told that Zoom weddings are now legal in New York. Is that true?
Zoom marriage is
Zoom
legal
marriage.
in New York.
Zoom
Zoom
marriage.
marriage. Yeah, you can get married and legally
Wow,
on
and
Zoom
legally
in New
you
York.
can get married on Zoom.
Yeah, it's legal in New York.